So welcome back to our channel, that is AI Next Generation. So this particular video belongs to the loops in the Python. Okay, so we are going to see for loop, while loop in this particular Python we are just going to use. So mainly you have to just more concentrate on the for loop, because whenever you are going for the, even for the while loop, whenever you are just writing the model, so whenever you're just building the model in AI ML or for the deep learning, so there you are using many loops. And if you are really beginner in the Python, so you have to must understand about the loops in the Python, because whenever you will do in write any code that's related to the iterating part, whether you have to iterate through all the number in the list or the tuples, so you have to use the concept of the loop. Okay, so why we are using the loops, basically that whenever you want to print something 10 times, you are not going to write print 10 every time, print 10 times. Okay, so for that you can just write one line of code and you can just execute, it will just loop through every time. Okay, so that is the use of the loop, means you are just making more generalized code you are just making. And the second more important about the loops in the Python is how you are just making the Python, that is a model to learn, basically the model to run, because whenever you are going to use the loop. Okay, so loop will first iterate through the first condition, then second condition, third condition, and so on, how many condition or how many value you are going to give in this particular list or tuples. Okay, so we will see with the example, so it will be like more clear to you. Okay, now let's jump. So first of all, if you are just defining any list, we already have been seen the list in very depth. Even you have not watched the video that's related to the list, even you can just go and watch the list video. So now we are just writing some value inside the list. I'm just writing some random stuff like xyz, abc, or something, pqr, or something tvw. Okay, or I'm just writing random stuff. Now I'm just writing random values inside the list. You are just writing 4 value. Now what you have to write, I want to iterate through the list. Okay, so for that what you can just do, you can just write for. First of all, we will see the for loop. What is the for loop? So I will just write the syntax for that. For here you have to just give the variable, that is the small instance variable, and then after you have to write for in, and from which particular condition where you want to iterate. You want to iterate through the whole list. Okay, you are just giving for I in a print I. So what do you mean by this? What you are just doing here, you are just saying that for I in a means you are just you want to iterate through all the value inside the list. So for I in the, for the first time, I will contains the value as xyz, it will just print xyz. Then it will again go to jump to the for the next, it will take abc, then again it will just print abc, then third time pqr, and fourth time tvw. Okay, means total four value you have inside the list, means 4 times the loop will iterate. Okay, the 4 times the loop will run, that is the for loop. You can just see whenever you are going to print, so you are just getting xyz, then abc, then pqr, then tvw. Okay, that's clear to you. I think it's really easy. Now the second thing is that whenever you are just running this thing, that is using the loop, even I have just showed you for the tuples also, you can just go through. If you are just defining this tuple, so even I want to show this thing in the list and tuple also, because if tuple is also used for the iteration, list is also used for the iteration, so you can just iterate through the tuple also. Okay, so now it's clear. You are just using the for loop, you are just giving the condition, and this was really easy. Now we are just jumping to the again next some complex things, that is nested inside the nested loop. Means you are using nested loop, means for loop inside the for loop you can use. Okay, you can use for loop inside the loop. Once the loop is iterating, then you are just going for the second loop inside that particular loop. Okay, we will see this thing also. So what I can just write here, I can just define b equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. Okay, just random I'm just defining, and I'm just iterating through all this particular number. Okay, fine. So what you are just saying here, so now if I will just write for I in b, suppose I'm just writing for I in b, so what you will just get the answer for j in b. I can just write, I have just given the name as I here. So for j in b, so now if I will just print I comma j, then what will be print? What it will be print? Now just clearly understand this one. For the first time for will execute, this for loop will execute the first time I will has value as xyz. Okay. Now it will jump to the this loop for j in b. J in b means it will pick up 1. So now it will print 1 xyz comma 1. Clear? Now again it will not jump to the first loop, it will again jump to the this second current loop, because whenever it will execute all the four times the second loop will execute, then it will jump again to the first loop. Okay, means the first time it will just print you, it will just contain this one. The first time it will contain x y z comma 1. Okay, why? Because whenever you are just iterating through the first loop, it contains first value, that is x y z. Now you are jumping to the next loop, and now next loop contains for j in b. So now j value will have 1. Okay, so now it will print x y z comma 1, and then after the second times what it will print, again it will just print you it now it will j will take the 2 value. Okay, so it will take the 2 value. Now it will not go to the first particular for loop. Whenever this particular for loop will execute, then it will jump to the first loop. Okay, so now what it will be there, I value will be here constant, because again you are not going to the first loop, you are iterating again and again in the second particular for loop. So you are just writing x y z comma, and the second value for this second loop will be 2. Clear? Now again you are jumping to the third iteration, then after what you are getting, again you are just getting the xyz, means how many number you want it is there in the b, that time the second for loop will execute. Okay, so you are just writing 3, and the fourth time it will print that one xyz comma 4. Clear? I think it's clear to you that what you are just getting the answer for the whenever you are just getting the now getting this answer. So now what you are just doing here, now this particular for loop, it has been iterated, now it will again jump to this particular first loop. Now first loop will contain abc. Okay, now it will just contain abc. Now again it will come to the second loop. Now what the second loop contains first 1, so it will just print you abc comma 1. Then again it will iterate abc comma 2, abc comma 3, and abc comma 4. Okay, abc comma 2, abc comma 3, and abc comma 4. Clear? Okay, clear. I think it's really easy. And now you are just getting this one abc comma 4. So what you are just done, now you are just iterating through the first loop, then after you are just going to the second loop, and total 4 condition it is there, means 4 value, 4 times the loop will execute, again it will jump to the back to the first loop. Now you can just see this answer same. Whenever I will just print this one, you are seeing xyz 1, xyz 2, xyz 3, xyz 4, then abc 1, abc 2, abc 3, abc 4, pqr 1, pqr 2, and so on. Okay, so I think it's really clear how you understand the nested inside nested. Again, if you are just going to use again nested loop, that is a for loop, again you are just writing, you can just do this all thing. You can just write here for I, j, k, I'm just saying k in c something. So again you can just define c equal to something like, even you can just define the list, there is no problem. You're just defining something a comma b comma, okay, so you're just defining a comma b comma c and something d. Okay, fine. Now what you are just writing here, you have to just write, now you are just writing this one, print I comma j comma k. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, now just run. Now it will just give you the first time, I think first time it will just go through the xyz. Now it will just jump to the next particular loop. Now after that particular, it will just jump to the c loop. Now c total you have abc, means total abcd, means total 4 times this particular third loop will execute, means xyz comma 1 comma a, xyz1b, xyz1c, xyz2. Again now it will jump to the again second loop. Okay, now again it will execute 4 times it is there, then after that it will jump to the first loop. So this was the really easy example I have just given to understand nested loop. It's really important concept whenever you are using loop inside the loop. Clear? Now we will jump to the another problem, that is and again we have just seen in the previous video also, if and else condition. You can just give any condition. Okay, if this particular condition satisfy, then you are just executing this loop. If this condition does not satisfy, you are not going to execute this loop. Suppose if this particular condition, like I can just give the example, if length of particular a is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, if greater than is equal to 5, then you are just iterating this loop, otherwise you are not iterating this loop. Suppose I'm just writing random. Okay, so now just run. Now it will nothing, it will print. Why? Because you have just given the condition, that is if length is greater than, it means length of a, this one, length of a is greater than 5, then you are just going to execute this thing, because total length is only 4. Okay, so this particular condition false, that's why this particular block is not executed. You already have been seen in the previous particular video. If you have not seen, please go and watch if and else condition. Now if you are just writing 3, now it will execute. Why? Because the condition satisfy. So that's why you're just getting this output. Clear? Now we will jump to the next things. That is now you have just understand about the for loop. Whenever you are just giving, whenever you are to passing the list, tuple, or anything, you're just passing. Okay. Now even you can just create any dictionary. I'm just writing dictionary, and you're just writing name as a key and value as a xyz, and then after you're just writing college as a key and value as IIT, and you're just writing place as a key, and you're just writing place as a, you're just writing Delhi. Okay, fine. Now this you have just written. Now you want to iterate through the dictionary. How you will just iterate through the dictionary? Even for the dictionary also, I have explained you the clearly about everything that's related to the dictionary. Even you can just go and watch this particular video that contains about the dictionary. So now what you are just going to write here, if you want to iterate through all the keys and value for that, now what you are just writing for I in A. Suppose you are just writing this thing for I in, that is a dictionary. Print I, it will only print you the particular key, that is the name, college, and place. If you want to print all the values, I want is writing just values. Okay, I'm just calling this value. Already we have seen this thing, but we have not seen that at that time. That is iterating, that is using the for loop. Now only the values will print, and if you want to print both keys and value, we already have seen that we are going to use, that is the items for that. Okay, so now items will give you the name as a key and value, name, key, and value, key and value. Okay, fine. So we already have seen the iterating through the list, iterating through the tuples, iterating through the dictionary. Okay, that is really easy. Now we will jump to the for executed you have just seen. Now we will jump to the for execution, means for loop using some number of iteration you want to give. So we have the concept of range. I will just define you what you mean by range. Okay, we already have seen some in the string, in the things whenever you are doing the slicing, you are just writing start, stop, step. Now I will just explain you what is the use of the range. So the first condition in the range, it will be like, it will, the first thing it will be start, then second it will be stop, and the third thing it will be step. So what do you mean by start, stop, step? The first thing is a start. So start means basically from what particular iteration you want to start, what number you want to give. If I want to start from the 1, it will start from the 1. If you want to start some number from the 2 to iterate the loop, then it will start from the 2. Then the second variable, that is a stop. So in which particular number you want to stop. So if you are just giving as a 4, then it will iterate to 2 comma 3. Or if suppose you are just writing 1 comma 4, means it will iterate 1 comma 2 comma 3. That's it. It will iterate 3 times. It will not include 4. Every time whenever you are just writing stop, every time you have to write n plus 1. If you want to iterate some number 10 times, you want to iterate loop 10 times, then you have to write in place of 10, you can just write 11, because it will execute 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. That's it, right? N minus 1, what n value you are just passing, you have to just write. It will just iterate at that number of time. Okay, that's fine. And then the third number is like the third number is a step. Okay, what do you mean by step? Step is basically how much step you want to take for the particular iteration. By default it is 1. Whenever you are not passing start and stop, then by default step value will be the 1. So by default is 1. Whenever you are just taking 2, so it will take 2 step at a time, means the first parameter it will just print 1. Now it will skip 2, then it will print 3. Now it will skip, means 2 at a time. Then you can just 5 7 9. This one will be the output after whenever you will execute for I in range 1 to 11, and you are to take a step as a 2, then you will get this one as a output. Now we are going to see this one for I in range, where you are just writing, here you are just writing start, stop, step. The first parameter you are just passing as a start. Okay, let's say the how you are going to write a start, we already have seen. If you are just going to start with the 1, you want to stop with the 11, means you want to iterate up to 10. Okay, and now the third parameter you are just passing as a 2, that is the step size. Now you are just printing this one, print I. Let's see what will be the output. Okay, so 1 3 5 7 9, you are getting this one output. Already I have just told to you. Now what you have to do, what you have to do, you already have just understand about the range concept. You can just pass, you can just do anything. If you want to take step size as a 3, you can just do at this thing. Clear? Now the third thing I want to explain you about the things, that is a for loop. The for loop you are just writing again with the help of the, you have just get iterating all the with the help of the number. Okay, so here you have just iterate all the with the help of condition, that is the how many value it is there, you are that number of time you are just executing, you are just iterating the loop. Okay, now you are just iterating through the number, means how many number you want to find, that number of time the loop will execute. That is the use of the for loop. Clear? So that was the easy about the for loop. I hope this is clear regarding the for loop. Now the second thing we are going to see about the while loop. Okay, so while loop is also important as of the for loop, but now means everywhere it depends upon the situation. But you can just say that whenever you are going for the AI ML, then I don't know, but 70 to 80% you will use the for loop maximum. So you just concentrate, your for loops will be really you can just say good whenever you are just executing any programming language or anything, because while loop, whenever you are using while loop, you it works only on depends upon the condition, certain condition you are just defining, on that particular condition it is iterating. So what you can just write here, whenever I'm just rewriting while loop, okay, if you are just defining while loop and you want to execute only with whenever it is less than equal to 10, but what is x, you can just define here x, I can give here x equal to 0. That's it. Okay. Now you are just writing x equal to 0 and you are writing print x, and then every time you are just increasing x value as 1 plus equal to y. I'm just writing 1. Yeah. Clear? So what you are just writing here, you are just writing the while loop. In the while loop, it works only on the condition, how many is, if the condition satisfy, that number of times this loop will execute. If the condition does not satisfy, it will just terminate, it will come out of the loop. You can just see the example, let's see, and let's see, it will just print you up to 0 to 9, because after the 9, 10 is less than 10, that does not satisfy the condition, it will just break out this loop, it will just terminate this loop. If you are just writing if x is less than equal to 5, suppose you are just writing 5, then it will just print you up to 4, 0 1 2 3 4. Clear? Why? Because every time you are just, the first condition will print you the print x that you have just defined as 0, then the next time you are just increasing every time x equal to x plus 1, x plus 1 equal to what you are just writing, x equal to x plus 1. This one is meaning of this one, x plus equal to this one. So it don't be confused in this. Okay, you are just writing this, and every time the loop will execute, every time the loop will run, then you are just increasing every time 1 1 1. So the previous value was 0, then again the first iteration you have just given as 1, then second 1 plus 1 2 3 4. So that number of time it is executing every time the x value change, and if this particular condition satisfy, then up to that particular condition it will iterate, and if this condition does not satisfy, it will terminate out of the loop. Okay, so this is the use of the while loop. So while loop is also really important, you have to give, but it only works in the condition base, what condition you are just giving here. So at that particular condition, if it is satisfied, that number of time the loop will run, and if it does not satisfy, it will just terminate through the loop. I think, and then for loop you already have seen about the range, the number of time it is iterating, or the from how many value inside the list or the tuple or the dictionary is iterating. I hope this clear to you about the for loop, while loop. That was really easy. In the next video, we will see about the break and continue in the loop. So that's all for this video. Hope if you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.